Good morning. Had to do a start over again there. We're going to hopefully not have any more of those in the future, but had to this moment. So we'll start again with this morning moment. And this is later than is planned to be in the future. I plan on airing these. Of course, when they post live, doesn't mean they'll get posted on other apps and sites at this time. But hope to have this stream initially at 9 a.m. and in the future, hope to have it set up to where I can have simultaneous streaming. So be wary of righteous outrage. That would be what I would call for us to take a moment to consider this morning. Now, let me preface with saying I don't agree with everything our current president has posted online. I don't agree with any politician across the board on anything. Now, some it would be closer than others, but I don't agree with our current president on everything. I may agree with him more than I have some other presidents we've had, but not on everything. I am pro-life. I think it is the government's place to keep people from murdering the unborn. So I agree with him on things like that. Some of the typical conservative positions. Don't agree with everything he puts online, for sure. I don't agree with the foul language that he's used. I don't agree with the disrespect of those that are recently deceased. That is uncalled for, ungodly. So I do think he has been very ungodly online. However, the recent post, quick to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. That's a principle in James 1:19. Now, somebody might say, well, this wasn't quick to hear. This was, I saw and so I spoke. Well, we have the principle of not judging according to appearance, but judging with righteous judgment there in John 7:24. Now, what is involved with righteous judgment there is a larger discussion, but we have there certain people among the Jews that were judging Jesus based upon some preconceived notions they had, essentially. So they were viewing things he was doing a certain way, and so it appeared a certain way. So that appearance there is more than just the actual literal, definite appearance, but also how it appears to you. Be careful that you do not judge according to appearance. Now, obviously, this recent post on, I guess it was on Truth Social, I think, it appeared a certain way to people. It appeared to people that our current president was presenting himself as Jesus. When I saw the post, it was kind of a strange looking post to me. It didn't come across that way to me, in part because while in the post it has Trump in kind of some robe looking things, and yes, he's obviously supposed to be healing somebody, he didn't look like Jesus. Because it's like, well, okay, if he's trying to make himself look like somebody from ancient times, that could be him just being a healer in general. Obviously, it didn't have him portrayed with a typical hair and facial hair that Jesus is typically presented with. Not saying that the long hair is actually historically accurate. It's most likely not. But he didn't appear necessarily to look like Jesus to start with. But then I also have the fact that he has commented on this post and has blatantly stated this is not what he intended. Now, what am I supposed to do with that? Now, I have heard some. I know even the fellow on the moderate case, which I know is on Facebook. I'm assuming it's on YouTube as well. I forget the young man's name, but he normally does a very nuanced has a very nuanced take on things. This one, I think he's jumping the gun a little bit. He says, well, I think he said he doesn't buy it, what Trump is saying. I understand why people have doubts, but I also understand this. In Matthew 7:1, judge not that you be not judged. Now, yes, I do understand people take that out of context a lot, and they use that to try to say, well, you can't say anything's wrong, and that's not what it's saying. But he does go on to say, for with what judgment you judge, you will be judged. With what measure you use, it will be measured back to you. And I come back to something. Trump is not very educated spiritually. He just is not. He does not have a very good understanding of scripture, of scriptural principles. He does, I think, have have some logic about him. He does have some business sense about him. But as far as as far as understanding scripture and particularly also understanding how optics might be about something, at this point, it's either obvious he doesn't really think about optics, that is, how things might appear to people, or he just really doesn't care. And when I say he doesn't care, I don't mean that somehow means, well, then he saw, well, hey, this makes me look like Jesus, so I'm going to put it up because I don't care. No, I'm saying he might not care enough about that sort of thing where he would think it through. So basically, what I'm saying is, before we all get up in arms and start doing what we can to make sure we're speaking up against the blasphemy, which, I mean, when it comes to that sort of thing, and some people are probably upset to hear me say this, as far as I know, Donald Trump is not a Christian. So I'm not going to expect him to act like one. Like, I don't hold Christians, or excuse me, I don't hold non-Christians to rules in regards to what is proper worship, because their worship is not really accepted by God to start with. A non-Christian that doesn't understand how prayer works, well, they're not a Christian anyhow. I don't expect that of them. So when it comes to this one, be wary of the righteous outrage. Be wary of expending your energy in such a way, on such a thing that you might be misconstruing it anyhow. And that would be one of the main points here is, you don't want to misrepresent things. And if he did not intend, now if he did intend and he's just lying about it, then that's bad. But if he did not intend for this to be him portrayed as Jesus, and he has deleted it, it's not even on there anymore. So he at least does have the sense that when he realizes how it's impacting people, he took it down. There has to be some credit given for that. So, folks, whether you like a certain president or not, we are supposed to treat people the way we want to be treated. We need to be charitable to people. And if somebody says, hey, this is not what I intended, even if, that sort of thing is actually what maybe the person that made it intended, though, as I understand, that's not what the person that made it even intended. But give them the benefit of the doubt. Treat them like you want to be treated. So let's be wary of the righteous outrage. You have a good rest of the day. I will be on here hopefully on time for the midday moment. And shalom.